staying in the state of Wisconsin. That is where Game 6 of the NBA Finals will be played tomorrow night, with Giannis and the Bucks looking to close out the Suns after Phoenix took the first 2 games of the series. Milwaukee now back in it, taking Game 3, led by Giannis with 41 points. And then in Game 4, Giannis doing it with the defense. The legendary block on DeAndre Ayton, the play where he stopped the alley and the oop. That tied things up. And then the first road victory of the series on Saturday night. Jrue Holiday, the steal. There's the alley. There's Giannis throwing down the oop. And it is the Milwaukee Bucks who took the 3-2 lead back home to Milwaukee. You should know the teams down 3-2 in the NBA Finals go on to win the series only 19% of the time. That means of the 47 teams to enter a Game 6 down 3-2, only 9 of them have become champions. The most recent, the Cleveland Cavaliers against the Warriors in 2016. If only we had someone on our show who was on that team. Oh, yes. Richard Jefferson was on that team, and he is in Milwaukee today. And here's where I want to begin, RJ. A week ago, as we just pointed out, the Bucks were on the brink on the other side. They were down 2-0. The Suns seemed really comfortable. How did we get in a week's time from there to here?
Look, everybody has been wondering that question, because ultimately what the Bucks have done is they have just continued being so gritty. Look, they were down 2-0 to the Nets. They were down 1-0 to Milwaukee, down 2-0 here to Phoenix. So this has really been their path. And even if you look at the last few years, they have always played somewhat of a difficult brand of basketball. But I think with the addition of Jrue Holiday and the way Chris Middleton is playing, they have just continued getting better as this series has gone on. And I'll remind people, in Game 1, that was the first game that Giannis had played in a week. And so it wasn't even the best version of him. So if you look at that, then you're like, hey, maybe this series would have been a little bit different if Giannis would have came into it healthy.
And that's exactly right. I mean, we forget, because everything seems so long ago, that we didn't even know if Giannis would play in this series before it began. So speaking of him, he has made huge plays on the defensive end. He's had signature plays on the offensive end in several enormous games. If he wins this thing tomorrow night, what will this playoff run have meant for Giannis's legacy?
It's going to mean so much for him, because he did it the most difficult way, to do it where you got drafted, to do it in a small market, to build to build from within. When you look at bringing in Chris Middleton and then going and getting the right pieces, going and giving the farm to get Jrue Holiday. So it's not even just Giannis. You want to give a compliment to the Bucks organization, to the fan base, but really the fact that Giannis did it the hardest way possible, that not a lot of guys do, that it's a very special opportunity and a special championship if they're able to finish it off.
And how about this performance in particular through 5 games so far? You've played with and against some of the greatest players in NBA history in the finals: Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. How would you stack up what we've seen from Giannis in these 5 games in terms of what you've seen in your career?
Impressive, but expected. Right? Like he is a person that is so talented that when you put him on the floor, even on an average day, he's going to have 25 and 15. So, for him to raise his level, which he has done, getting multiple 40-point games, having games where he shoots the ball well from the free throw line, making defensive plays, making offensive plays. When you look at all of the greatest players in history, and Giannis is up there, 2-time MVP, one of 3 players to win the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. All of these awards, he's doing what those awards show, right? Michael Jordan with the steal and the game-winning shot, like all of these things that you see from great players, and Giannis is a part of that group.
Look, he's one win away from being a 26-year-old 2-time MVP and finals MVP, which he certainly figures to be if they win this quickly. On the other side, Chris Paul coming into this with his best chance to finally win a championship, and it has just gone sideways for him since Game 1. What do you see there, and what does he need to do tomorrow night for the Suns to win?
Well, it's so funny is that the formula will always be tweaked a little bit, but you got to stick with it. Chris Paul has always done a great job first through 3 quarters, getting everybody involved, making sure Devin Booker had a rhythm, make sure that bench was moving, the ball was popping, and then come in the 4th quarter, Chris Paul has dominated 4th quarters, dominated that 3rd, the end of the 3rd, beginning of the 4th, dominated the last 5 minutes. If he's not able to do that, then even with Devin Booker putting up historic numbers, especially for a player in their first postseason, I just don't really see the Phoenix Suns being able to do it. And I think that's been the biggest issue for the Suns, is Chris Paul hasn't really taken over late in games like he's done all postseason.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.